Hey everyone, welcome to the third video. This video, we want to talk about the application process. Super exciting. We've kind of been a little bit generic or just kind of not gone in deep, but this is when we start kind of showing the secret sauce. Honestly, there's nothing here that you haven't thought about or potentially, seen online or whatever, but we've just packaged it up into a success formula that's worked for me. And given my kind of background and experience. And since because of that, we think that it could work for everyone. And we're super excited about it and diving in deeper into some of the application process in this video.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's go. Okay, application overview, right? Very simple. 6 steps. Education, test scores, personal information, awards. I love that one.
Yeah.
And professional experience, letters of recommendation, essay. Sounds easy, right? This is Stanford. Everyone can do this. What do you think, John?
Everybody can do it, but you got to make sure that you have kind of the right information for the right program. Again, it goes to just finding that. So I guess it's like candidate uh, market fit. You want to make sure that you're the right candidate for the right program. So yes, it sounds easy. It's easy as long as you have exactly what they are looking for in a candidate. So yeah, that's what we're going to help you through. So yes, it sounds easy. It sounds easy, like based on just this slide, but once you start to dig into it, it gets a little more complicated. But again, like I said, if you're applying to the right programs, then this will be easy and it'll be fun.
Yeah, I think that like most folks may have 3 of these or 4 of these really dialed, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah. I mean, everybody. I mean, I think
but
everybody
people only
immediately
but
goes to
people but people
everybody goes
only
to
focus
test scores. Everybody goes to test scores. Everybody's hyper focused on that one, right?
test scores first thing 100% because everybody sucks at standardized tests. It is what it is. I like I said, I never took the SAT or ACT in my
I'm terrible. I'm terrible. I'm terrible at it. I mean, geez, man, I don't even, man, the my SAT score was terrible. First time I took the GMAT was equally as terrible. And then I was like, man, no way. This is not going to be me. This is not going to be my fate. So I willed my way. I turned myself into a GMAT robot. I inspired you as well, turned into a GMAT robot. And then we both ended up crushing the GMAT. But it took a lot of work, man, because that was not our natural skill set. But you have, at a base level, that test score, you have to come in with something that just like gets you in the mix in the conversation that they're even can consider you on these other things. So I think that test score is like sort of that base level thing, and then these other things become equally as important.
Yeah, I agree. I think that most people probably have 3 or 4 of these nailed, right? But where this program can help you out is kind of fill in some of those gaps that you're missing.
100%, 100%. It's going to be very rare that somebody can just blindly come in and just knock these all out right from the get go. Those are very rare candidate. And if you hear about those, you're always going to hear about one of those. Everybody's going to have one of those people in their life or their network. But just block out the noise because that is not reality. That is not the majority of people applying to these programs and getting in. So just forget that one person. It's just like the story of the person that literally studied for 6 weeks for the GMAT, knocked it out of the park, and then applied and got into like every top, M7 school in the world. That's not reality. Sorry. If you're hearing that kind of noise, it's just not the truth.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that, John. When I was going through the process, I literally, and I'll talk about it, went into like a caveman mentality where I didn't listen to anybody. I'd only take calls from you because you were mentoring me and coaching
Yep.
me through it. But you gotta do you gotta do yourself, right? Not listen to all the online stuff is all garbage. It really is. Even some of the advice from your parents and your family members, garbage. Like don't listen to it. You need to just do what's right for you. Stay focused, stay true to yourself. Follow these steps. It works. It worked for me. It'll work for you guys. All right.
100%.
So let's dive into it, right? So, ultimately with a good strategy, with a good game plan, right? Anything's achievable, right? People have climbed Mount Everest, right? They've done things that are way more difficult than getting into MBA school, right? So it's all about how you go about this process and the mindset that you have going into this process, right? So first off, planning, right? How much time do you have a day, a week, the next month, right? Thinking ahead about just how much time you're going to put into this. Because for John and I, it took years. For some people, they only have a couple months. And ultimately, both work. It just depends on how much time you have in the day. So actually sitting down and planning this out is very important. Number two, it's the mindset, right? As we've talked about it, stay positive, stay focused on your goal. There's going to be ups and downs of this whole process. When you look at the big picture, and boil it down to very simple tactical items, it's very achievable. But when you sometimes go to broad scale thinking, it can be overwhelming at times. So just stay true to the plan, and ultimately it'll work out in your favor. Go into your cave, as we're going to talk about over and over again. Block out the noise. There is so much noise around the NBA, so much noise around completing goals that it just becomes overwhelming, and it can definitely weigh you down. Like this journey is a journey against yourself, right? Like that's the only person you're competing with at the end of the day, because you just need to be better than the person you were the day before, the week before, the month before. And ultimately that leads to success. On a tactical level, the accountability coach, us as mentors, right? And we'll provide those services on an hourly basis or monthly, whatever you need. We're there for you guys. Is very important, right? I mean, everybody can hire a personal trainer if they're trying to lose weight. That's common, right? If you're trying to do the MBA, you can go to Stacy Blackman or any of these coaching. They're only going to help you with the essays, right? The essays are just one piece of the pie here. There's 6 pieces that you need to complete, and we're all inclusive, comprehensive coaches, right? We can do it all. So that's why we're excited to help folks. And then just more tactical things we'll get into later. Don't want to spend too much time talking through it because we're going to deep dive on all these subjects, but think strategy, tactics, execution, right? It's very much like we're going to war. So time
100%.
management. Time management. This is I kind of, when going through my process, I had a job initially, then I got laid off. So I had no job and I was able to spend more time on it. This is unique to every candidate that's going through this process. If you don't have a job and you have all the hours in a day, you can get this done in two months potentially, right? But this is kind of just an overall benchmark of how to think about how much time you're going to need. 400 hours is an average based on what we've seen and what we were able to do, but it can be shorter for some people, right? If you studied English as a major and you a math minor, you may bang out the GMAT in, one go, right? So that could be 40 hours. Who knows? Everyone's different. All we're trying to show here is that just a simple time management framework to help you think about how much time it's going to take you to get this process done. Any thoughts here, John?
Yeah, no, yeah, it's I guess looking if you're working 80 hours a week, well, who, you're probably reevaluating everything in your life at that point. Like,
Yeah. Well, when I
so
was working at Houlihan, and it would have been impossible for me to get this process done, right?
yeah, I think yeah, for me, I kind of made that decision. So I wanted to I kind of picked a job where I knew I could be a little bit in cruise control and I could have more time, so just something to factor in too. It just kind of depends where you're at. If you're just kind of just tired of everything in your career, then yeah, just try to find a job that potentially just lets you kind of be in cruise control. Maybe it's not, I guess one thought is like, maybe it's not time to be looking at like trying to find a new job or job hop or what if you already do have a job. Or if you just got laid off, then hey man, just put kind of, just put your head down and just get it done, because you can get it done in basically 7 weeks if you just stay focused. So it's yeah, you just have
That's
to evaluate where you're at, right?
Yeah, no, totally. So, I mean, I was trying to do it when I was working at Schnitzer, and then that was like a 40-hour-a-week job, right? So that's kind of that middle bucket. But when I got laid off, it was like November 1st or something. The
Mhm.
applications were due late December, early January. So I really had like 2 months to get it done.
Yeah.
And that's when I kind of hit the full gas pedal to 0 to 100 on it. So I kind of landed in that third, that no job bucket. And that's when the ultimate success came in for me. So I've kind of been in both of those two buckets to the left, the no job and the 40 hours a week. But this is kind of the time that you need to be thinking about. Also, the other thing I wanted to be point out here is that the weekends are really your crunch time. So, if you like
Yeah. You
socializing
got
and
to make
drinking,
sacrifices, man. No more happy hours, catching up with friends, going to the movies and things like that, man. It's you got to make a lot of hard choices, but that's where we're going to help you. We're going to help you. It's like going to a trainer, having the right diet, getting in the gym every morning, that's where we're going to be there in your ear every day.
yeah. So I mean, I had John, we would meet on Friday like after work at like 4 o'clock, and he would give me the pep talk for the whole weekend. So that I would come into Saturday, hit a practice test, right? And then take a break, go work out. That night, I would go back and review the practice test. Sunday morning, I'd jump in and hit another practice test, right? That was my life for 2 months straight, to complete kind of these goals, right? But we'll walk through all the details, but this is just a general framework that will kind of help you think about what's needed to complete this process.
Hmm.
So ultimately, this is so funny, but it's true. And one of the things that I learned early on at the MBA is that even when you're with all these smart individuals that are your fellow students, like even the smartest person in the room, like their inherent kind of, personality is being lazy, right? And where this program kind of shines and I think helps out a lot is helping you break some of the old habits that you've had that kind of lead to the laziness. Like how much time do you spend on Instagram? How much time do you spend on X a day? How much, like all this stuff can be avoided, which is different habits. And we're just going to help you to create those new habits and think about, the process a little bit differently.
Yep. Yep. 100%.
So here are some kind of overall mindset best practices. We don't need to go into huge detail here, but I'll hit on some points. Everyone has the slides as takeaways. Big vision mindset, right? Thinking big, right, is huge when you're thinking about just overall completing these goals, right? Where do you want to be in the future? Like think really big and have that mindset at the end of the road of like why you're doing all this. But also at the same time, you want to stop like avoiding some of the non-beneficial thinking, right? This can happen all the time and it really weighs you like folks down from doing anything. It can be a major roadblock, right? So one of the best practices that I love doing is the 2 minute rule, right? Tell yourself you're going to do it for 2 minutes. Like let's say on Saturday morning you don't want to wake up and do a practice test. Tell yourself you're going to study for 2 minutes. Just get into the process of doing it. The 2 minutes, before you know it, it'll be 2 hours. Before you know it, it'll be 4 hours, right? So just stop thinking, and just do it. And then act as if, right? Like as you're going through this process, act as if you're already a student, act as if you're already an alum, right? Like act as if you're like that person, right? Because that's who like these people want to talk to. That's how they want to, socialize with. That's who they want to, be in the future. Don't be humble, but also kind of act as if you're like an MBA already, right? Then that will help you to kind of think about the mindset you need to have, right? What would it how would an MBA think about this, right? Like that's some of the things I used to think about, right? And then your failures and negativity, right? I love the quote that's every failure is one step closer to being a success, right? That is so true because through this process, there's going to be a lot of failures. You're going to be stagnant on your practice test scores, or you're going to have writer's block when you're writing your essays. You may not get into the school, like John mentioned, his first time go around. But ultimately, you're going to grow as a person through this process, through the failures and negativity that comes along with it. If you're trying to achieve anything difficult, there is failure and negativity. That's one of the main reasons why we always talk about avoid the noise, right? Because that noise it can be very wearing, and it's just not necessary to complete these goals.
I love it. I love it, man. You know, one other thing I'll just add is I think maybe you did as well. I had some friends that I had gone to undergrad with, and they were already in top MBA programs, so I aligned with them as well. So, you know, obviously, you know, develop relationships with some people that maybe already are in the programs that you want to be in, because I think it helps to just be talking to them and understanding kind of what they're doing on a daily basis, and it also kind of helps you visualize kind of like the mindset and attitude you have to be successful.
That's why I think our coaching is very important too, right? Like we're both MBAs. We can help you think like that way. And it's just
100%.
some people just don't have some people work on Wall Street and all they deal with is MBAs. That's their life. But some people are from smaller towns, even us in Seattle, right? We're not around like a ton of MBAs. I mean, my job had a couple that I was working on before, but it's unique. It's rare. Not everyone has this. So just building that mindset of thinking like that earlier on is going to be advantageous for everyone going through this program.
Yep.
Great. So, I mean, honestly, guys, like I hate to say it, but distractions are everywhere from the moment you wake up. You're getting notifications on your phone. And it just, when you're trying to complete, I mean, it's so obvious and so dumb to have to bring this up, but everything is a distraction. Like it really is. Even when I talk to some people who are entrepreneurs, the hardest part of them working long hours and being successful is just avoiding all these distractions and just like you need to grind. And it's just sometimes, when you talk to people who you think have your best interest in, people are competitive. I mean, it is what it is, and they don't always have your best interests, and the distractions are very real, and it can weigh down on this process. So we just want to keep iterating the fact is like distractions, avoid these at all costs.
Yep. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. You gotta really kind of focus in on what you want, and you have to be a little selfish. You're gonna have to be a little selfish, unfortunately, to
The
be.
reward outweighs the current distractions, hands down. It's like you
Yep.
said, hard life now, easy life down the road, right?
And we'll help you. We'll be talking to you as much as you want, and we can help you really get focused in on what you need to do to be successful every day.
Yeah. So I learned this through Jersey Gregorick. He's kind of one of my mentors for just overall life. He's based out of Woodside, California. He's been on the Tim Ferriss podcast. He is an Olympic gold medalist. He's a very small guy, but he won a weightlifting competition down the like long time ago. And he just has a quote that says, "Hard decisions now, easy life in the future." But he also uses a mentality that a lot of Olympic athletes use, as well as professional athletes. They go into a cave, right? And when they're practicing their craft or sport, there's no distractions. Like they turn it all off. They focus 100% on the goals they're trying to achieve, and it's caveman mentality. And I used it when I was going through this MBA approach. It took me multiple years to get it all done, but when I did this approach, I did it for 2 months straight and came out with 4 or 5 applications, and I increased my GMAT score by 80 points. So this is real. This is what top professionals and athletes use, and it's a real practice that can help you succeed in this overall process.
Love it.
So, and then we're talking about this all the time, but like finding an accountability coach, finding us as mentors, right? Even the best need coaches. Like Tiger Woods has golf coaches, right? Like swing coaches. He's the #1 player, right? Like everybody needs someone to just give them a little bit of guidelines, a little bit of assistance, a little bit of encouragement. Whatever you need, we're here for you, and we're here to help you succeed. So, like, why would I hire an NBA coach? That seems weird. Everybody needs a coach. If you want to complete something hard and you don't have the right mentor, it can be very challenging. But like we said before, whatever you want to achieve, it's been done before, right? So you just need to find people who have done it and then do what they have done. Like it's when you boil it all down, like life is that simple, but it's hard finding these people. Luckily enough, I found John when I was, in undergrad, and he's been my mentor ever since. But not everybody has those type of mentorship relationships, and that's why we're here, and that's why we created this program.
Love it.
So how do you find a coach, right? The energy, right? Do they inspire you, right? Do you see something in them that makes you want to work harder, that gives you energy, that makes you jump out of bed and have a fire in your belly, right? That's very rare, in my opinion. So find people like that. John and I have that energy. We're very excited and passionate about this, and ultimately, like, we just want people to succeed, right? That's all we're here for, at the end of the day, because it was so painful for us as a process that we feel like with our approach, like anyone can, if we can do it, you can do it. Like that's what was super exciting to me. Are they reliable? Like how hard is it to get a hold of these people? Some people are just way too busy, right? They may have given you life advice in the past and you really cherish that and hold that true to your heart, but how much time do they spend with you, right? Like it's very difficult. John and I are always available. We're just a text away or however we want to do it. So it's just, can they be reliable, right? And then relatable experience, right? They walked in your shoes? If the person went to Harvard undergrad and now in Harvard Business School, right? Like how relatable is that to us? It's not at all, right? I went to community college, to CLU, to Haas, right? So I kind of have that turnaround kind of story that some people can relate to, some people can't. That being said, can we help someone that's went to Harvard get into Harvard? 100%, right? Because they can just use these practices to their best advantage. They're just coming at their spots a little different than ours, right? On the trajectory map. So and then ultimately, like competitiveness, it's really weird, but the one thing that I don't like about the MBA programs that I visited is that people are competitive, right? Everyone's fighting for that like dream job, right? Whether that's at Google or Facebook or BlackRock, Blackstone, you name it. But business is competition, so they're ultimately, like, my best mentors are usually a little bit older than me, that aren't really competitive anymore, that kind of have lived that life and can have seen it and have lived it, done it, and can kind of, tell their experiences, tell their stories. But it's not like people my age or like people that I went to like MBA school with. It's very few and far between that you're going to get good advice from those types of people. That's my experience, John. I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
Yeah. People that are a little more successful or looking to give back, they've already done it. They've been there. They're not trying to compete. They're generally want to just help you out. Those are typically the best people. Like me and you, we've already done it. We're deep into our careers. We're not trying to, we're just trying to give back and help as many people as possible. That's why we did it. So, because I do believe, like you, this is probably the most important investment decision you'll ever make. Even more important than a house, even though houses are more expensive. I believe this is probably the most important investment decision you'll ever make. And you want to have the right people around you to make sure that you make the right choice in terms of schools, but you also maximize your return on investment.
I think that maximize is the key, right? You can do it yourself 100%. With this program, you can totally do it yourself. But having a coach, could you get to a better school? I think you can. And that it proved it with when you started mentoring me, man. Like that really made it.
Yeah. And again, it's like it's the old analogy of I guess product market fit or candidate school fit. You know, it's you want to find the right fit for you because there is that perfect school out there for you that's going to maximize that return and you're going to achieve not only your dream career but your dream life.
100% agree. That's it for this one.
All right, man. Session 3 in the books. Wow. Wow. Love it.
Yeah,
We'll see
guys.
you for session 4.
Section 4 and
Four is
5.
coming up.
We'll jump into the essays. We'll jump into the GMAT. We'll jump into best practices. We got a lot more to cover in this program and some of the kind of secret sauces that we use to be successful. So excited to see you guys in future videos.
See ya.